We all enter relationships with hope, with promises made and dreams shared. But what happens when those promises are ignored, when the expectations we built our love on slowly crumble?
When I first met Tucker, I thought I had found everything I'd ever wanted. He was charming, thoughtful, and funny. Everything I thought a partner should be. We clicked from the start, and before long, we were making plans for the future. I remember us talking about our dreams late at night. How we both wanted a family, a home, a life full of adventure and love. He promised me that we'd build that life together, that we'd support each other no matter what came our way. It seemed like a fairy tale at the time, but as the years went on, those promises started to fade, like ink washing away in the rain. At first, it was small things. He'd forget our anniversary, or we'd cancel plans because he was too busy with work. He always had a reason for it, an excuse that made me feel like I was being too demanding, too needy. I told myself that it wasn't a big deal, that relationships go through phases, and that I was being unreasonable. But it didn't stop there. The excuses grew larger, and the promises seemed emptier. We got married after 3 years of dating. I was ecstatic. I had spent my whole life dreaming of this moment. But once we were married, things started to shift. Tucker became more focused on his career, and I found myself constantly trying to get his attention to show him that I needed him, too. But he didn't seem to notice. His job always came first, and if I tried to talk about it, he'd tell me I didn't understand how hard he was working. I wanted to be supportive, but I felt like I was losing him, like I was becoming a side note in his life. I started to pull back, to focus on my own work and interests, thinking that maybe if I gave him space, he'd come back to me. But the distance between us kept growing. He'd come home late, and when he was there, he was distracted, his mind on the next project, the next promotion, the next big thing. Meanwhile, I was feeling more and more alone. I didn't want to be the nagging wife, the one who complained, but I also didn't want to be invisible. I wanted him to see me, to remember the promises he made when we were dating. He had told me we were a team, but I didn't feel like we were anymore. I tried talking to him about it, but every conversation seemed to end in frustration. He'd apologize, tell me he was doing this for us, that all of his hard work was meant to build a future for us. And I wanted to believe that. But after a while, the apologies stopped feeling genuine, and the excuses started to pile up. The worst part was that every time I tried to express how I was feeling, he'd turn it around and make me feel like I was the problem. He'd say I didn't understand the pressure he was under, that I didn't know what it was like to carry the weight of a family's future on your shoulders. And he was right in a way. I didn't fully understand, but I did understand that I needed him, that our marriage needed him. Then came the infidelity. I didn't find out about it until much later, but looking back, I can see the signs. He was more distant, more irritable, always on his phone, and when I asked about it, he would get defensive. One evening, I found an email, a simple one, with a subject line that said, "Can't wait to see you again." I confronted him, but at first he denied it. He told me it was just a friend from work, someone he had to keep in touch with for business purposes. But I knew that wasn't the truth. When I confronted him again, this time with the evidence, he admitted to the affair. He apologized, of course, but it was too late. The trust was gone, and the promises he had made about always being there for me, about building a future together, felt like lies. He said he was sorry, that it was a mistake, and that he loved me. But the words didn't hold the same weight anymore. How could they? He had broken our vows, and I was left picking up the pieces of a relationship that I no longer recognized. I didn't know what to do after that. I tried to work through it. I really did. But the more I tried, the more I realized that I wasn't the same person I was when we first met. I wasn't the hopeful, dream-filled woman who believed that love could conquer all. I had been worn down, little by little, by the broken promises, the neglect, and the betrayal. I was emotionally exhausted, and I knew that I couldn't keep fighting for a marriage that felt like it was only one-sided. So I left. I packed my things and walked away. And it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy because I still loved him. It wasn't easy because, despite everything, I still remembered the person he used to be, the man who promised me the world. But I also remembered the man who ignored me, who broke my heart, who made me feel like I wasn't enough. I knew I had to let go. I couldn't keep waiting for someone who didn't see me anymore. I couldn't keep holding on to a marriage that wasn't giving me anything in return. I thought that by leaving, I'd find peace. But the truth is, I don't know if I found peace yet. I still wonder if there was something more I could have done, if we could have fixed it, if I should have fought harder. But in the end, I know that it wasn't just his fault. I played a part in it too. I stayed too long, hoping things would change, hoping he would change. I ignored the red flags, convinced myself that it was all just a phase. But love shouldn't feel like a constant struggle. It shouldn't feel like you're fighting alone, trying to keep something alive when the other person has already checked out. Maybe I should have seen it sooner. Maybe I should have set boundaries earlier, but I didn't. And now, here I am, trying to make sense of it all. When promises are broken and love becomes a series of unmet expectations, can a relationship ever truly recover, or is walking away the only path to healing?